Hello, good morning, students. So now we'll see the interior of skull. That is the posterior cranial fossa. So this is the largest and deepest of this all this cranial fossa, and this posterior cranial fossa it consists of the hindbrains, that is hindbrain, which consists of cerebellum, pons, and the medulla in front. What are the boundaries of this posterior cranial fossa? Anterior, there is a superior borders of the petrous part of the temporal bone. This is the and the dorsum sella of the sphenoid. This is dorsum sella of the sphenoid bone. And the posteriorly, there is the squamous part of the occipital bone, and on each side, temporal part of the mastoid part of the temporal bone, and the mastoid angle of the parietal bone. This is the on each side. So one more time I am going to revise the boundaries. Anteriorly, the superior border of petrous temporal bone, dorsum sella, posteriorly squamous part of occipital bone, on each side mastoid part of temporal bone, and mastoid angle of parietal bone. The floor it is formed in midline. It is formed by the sloping area behind the dorsum sella, or it is called as clevis in front. And the middle, it consists of the foramen magnum in the middle, and the behind there is a squamous part of the occipital bone. On the lateral area, it consists of the condylar. Here this is the condylar part of occipital bone. Then this is the posterior surface of the petrous part of temporal bone. Then this is the mastoid part of temporal bone, and the mastoid angle of the parietal bone. In the median area, it is the clevis is the sloping in front of foramen magnum, and it is formed by the fusion of the posterior part of, this is the body of the sphenoid, and this is the posterior part of the then anteriorly it includes the dorsum sella, okay, with the basi occiput. Here the basilar plexus of the veins are there, and it supports the pons and medulla. On each side, it is separated by one fissure. This is called as a occipital fissure, which lodges the inferior petrosal sinus. This is the foramen magnum. It is present in the middle of the floor of this fossa. It is bounded anteriorly by this basi occiput and posteriorly by the squamous part of the occipital bone, and on each side by the condylar part of the occipital bone. Anterior part of this foramen magnum is narrowed, while this posterior part is large. While anterior part is narrow because it is by the medial surface of the occipital condyles. Okay, this is the squamous. This is the squamous part of occipital bone. At the midline, it consists of the internal occipital crest, which runs in the internal midline, and this is the internal occipital protuberance. This internal occipital crest, it's diverged to form one fossa. This is called as a Vermeon fossa. This is the internal occipital protuberance is just opposite to the external occipital protuberance. If you are seen from outside, there will be the external occipital protuberance. From this point, the transverse sinus begins. So this is the transverse sulcus begins. Okay, so here will be the transverse sulcus, is quite wide and runs laterally over the internal occipital protuberance up to this angle of mastoid angle of parietal bone, where it is continuous with the sagittal sulcus. So this is the groove you can see. This is the sagittal sulcus on the left side, while on the right side it will continue as a superior sagittal sinus. Okay, on either side of internal occipital crest, there is a fossa called as a cerebellar fossa, which lodges the cerebellum. Then in the lateral part, here you can see one tubercle. This is called as a jugular tubercle. On this jugular tubercle, this is the foramen. This is called as a hypoglossal foramen. Pierces the bone posterior anterior to the jugular tubercle. Then here's this condylar. This is the condylar canal. So condylar canal in the posterior to this canal is there. Okay, then the posterior surface, this is the posterior surface of the petrous part of temporal bone. ये जो है posterior surface of the petrous part of temporal bone. So in this diagram you can see this is the posterior surface of the petrous part of the temporal bone. In this here you can see this is the opening of the internal acoustic meatus. So this is the opening of the internal acoustic meatus. Behind this there is a slit-like opening of the aqueduct of vestibule. This is the arcuate eminence. Below this arcuate eminence, this is the subarcuate fossa. Subarcuate fossa. And here you can see this is the jugular foramen in the posterior end of petrooccipital suture between the jugular notch of petrous temporal bone above and shallow jugular notch occipital bone below. Upper margin is irregular and the sharp, that is called as a glossopharyngeal notch. Okay, and the lower margin is smooth and regular. This is the mastoid part of the temporal bone from the lateral wall of the posterior cranial fossa, just behind the petrous part of the. Here you can see the sigmoid sulcus on the left side. Okay. Then now we'll see the attachment on the cranial wall. So this frontal crest, this is the frontal crest, gives attachment to this crista falx cerebri. Then the orbital surface of frontal bone supports this. Okay, so now we'll do the attachment of the posterior cranial fossa. So we have seen here that through the internal acoustic, here this from subarcuate fossa it is related with the this hypophysis fossa. So this subarcuate fossa, it is related with this